Norwegian.
All right.
So, I don't want to do a whole lot of talking. You all are very smart people. I'm sure that you know a lot about intent, attention, all that stuff. What I'm going to talk about is stuff that I saw in moving step push-ins that people kind of get wrong and immediately lose a lot of their principles as far as the structure goes, and a couple of drills that we can play around with that. One thing that I saw that's super important is as soon as we start doing moving step push-ins, people get stuck in this position where we're completely square, because this is kind of how we play fixed step push-ins, right? So we're at this distance, we want to push here, but now we're allowed to walk, so we do this. And this is the whole thing, is just figuring out how to lean the best and getting into that leaning forward position. One thing that we can do is change how we think about space, physical space. We've got our positive, negative, right? So positive space is being filled by our opponent, it's being filled by ourselves. Negative space is everything that's in between us, everything that is around us. If we let ourselves pay attention just a little bit to the space around us, our body senses it very naturally. And so instead of trying to push here and trying to lean here, just like we were doing in the other side exercise, if I ignore these arms, even though we're connected, I have all this space to move in and create pressure, right? So that's what we're going to be doing, practicing creating pressure by filling negative space. So, first partner exercise, you're going to find somebody and you're just going to be here, and you're going to practice getting jammed up, getting stuck in this position, and then relaxing your arms and letting your torso come in, and letting your unified structure come inside to create pressure. Sound good?
Yeah.
Real simple, just here, and then one person pressure, and then back to here, get jammed up, next person pressure. And then we're going to move on from there. Cool? All right, find a partner.
All right, there he is.
Here.
Okay, so
Let's set it for a second here. So we're in a situation, you're trying to push it, right? We're starting to get jammed up.
when you get jammed up, now relax the space your arms and just move it down directly towards you. Take a nice big step. It's much easier.
And so what that's going to feel like if I'm on the inside here, if I'm pushing into your root stock,
You're staying in one place and I'm trying to
relax it. There it is. Yeah.
There's no more.
That's stationary. Yeah.
So yes, the better thing to do is
more structure to realize. There you go. Yeah. All right. Next bit of this. So a thing that we don't want to do is just be struggling here like before, right? Where we're in the exact same position, we're just closer to each other. Because once they catch Y's, basically, again, we're just stuck in this rooted position. So what we want to do is start to work for, in wrestling, what we call underhooks. You probably see this movement in a lot of different styles. We also have our teacup exercises, right? Where we get this like brushing kind of by our armpits down. So we're going to be here, we're stuck in each other, one at a time, one arm, we're gonna scoop under, and then get here, forearm kind of into the armpit here, and then try to go for the other arm as well. From this position, I can sink my hips underneath and regain my posture, so now I'm actually in control of all the weight here, right? From here, we can do sweeps, we can do throws, we can do whatever it is that we wanna do. So we're gonna take turns one at a time. So I start, I swim under, I'm here, I feel the connection, and then your partner will then swim underneath. Boom, boom. And the smaller you can make this movement, the tighter it can be, the more types of negative space you can fill, right? Because we're looking for negative space under the armpits to sneak into, so that then I can start to control the throw. Does that make sense? Any questions? All right, partner up and go for it.
Yes. Negative and positive space. Positive space would be this space. Negative space is no space.
So positive space is the space that is already filled by a physical body. So this is all positive space, right? Negative space is all this dead air.
Okay.
So filling the dead air with your body. Whoever fills the dead air is the one that creates pressure, at least within a wrestling context.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. No, that's well said. Well said. So what he's saying is here, right?
Yep.
And then here.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then now you're trying to do the same to me.
Yeah, so you're gonna come up over the top and swim in.
Yeah, and then here.
And then once you get into this under position, you should be able to feel the strength of your legs able to come up underneath.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so the person on the inside.
Yes, that's what.
That's why we're always trying.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu guys are always trying to be inside, so
Yes.
they can have the power from the inside.
Yes, they completely control your weight if they're underneath you like that.
Okay. So now I'm inside. Now you're trying to get inside. Okay. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
There you go.
We're having fun now.
Yeah, you're just cutting off their ability to like stay connected. Yeah, if you're underneath me, you can sort of affect me, right? With just this arm.
Yeah, I'm going. I have some control.
And then once I start to cut it off, I sever the connections to the root, right? So basically, as you're trying to lift me or move me with this arm, it kind of is able to be pushed back.
And then you switch.
Yes, yes.
And then the game continues.
Yes. All right, one more. Now we're gonna do. So everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the arm drag, super basic wrestling technique, and this is where the positional wrestling stuff comes in. We either want to be underneath so that we can start to lift, or we want to be on the outside so that they can't actually affect us, right? Or maybe they can if they train specially to attack from this position, but most people do not train to attack or root from this position. So we're going to take that concept that we learned earlier, the cloud hands, bringing them around like this, right? One partner is just going to have an arm out here. We love this beautiful negative space right here because I can fill that with my arm. We're going to take our same side arm, we're going to swoop it under as if we're putting it into our own pocket. And then this arm is going to come up underneath. And we're going to take this one and also put that into our pocket, right? So 1, 2, and then pulling it into the side. And I want to try to step with the same side foot if I can. So if I'm pulling in on the left side, I'm stepping with my left leg. If we switch here, I'll let you all see. If I'm pulling here, I'm stepping with my right. And the reason we do that is we want to counter the rise, overturn, fall, which is the counter to this, because if I don't do that and you just start to lift and turn, boom, I have no structure, I have no base. So we're stepping in with an inside Kobu hook step, right? Making sure all that strength is in our hip here and turning directly towards them. Really slow, that's going to look like one arm at a time. Step, turn into them. From the other side, step, turn into them. Does that make sense? And then we trade. So now I feed one arm. So you're going to touch with the same side arm first. From the inside, swooping out, put it in your pocket, and then come up to my armpit. Boom, yep. And then step over here with the other leg, because you don't want me to push it. There you go. So starting from here, so like you're doing cloud hands. Boom. Yep. And then turn directly into me. Boom. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll come around and kind of help people out. Cool? All right. Grab your partner. And then boom. Yeah. Okay. So it's just like that.
Oh, and step with this on this foot.
Yes. And the idea is, can I demonstrate this real quick?
Go ahead.
We just want to get this like momentum like that way, so that I don't actually have to take the step. And it's really going to force you, especially if you're not relaxed, to put your weight into that leg.
Yeah.
And if your weight is in that leg, then I can step here easily to get around it. If you're really in the moment, you could relax through it. But you can relax through it first. So if I pull you, that's relaxed. Does that make sense? So that's the idea, is to get the to bring the inertia. Yeah, get some movement.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a great way of entering. Yeah.
Does this leg do anything at that point, or just stay?
It doesn't need to necessarily. You can turn and then step forward, and that would be kind of like the bagua walking kind of movement. Let me perform it on your own just so you can feel it. So if I'm not moving at all, so if we're doing big step or whatever, it's just here as well. And that's and it's all just the flow and the momentum of it. I don't even really have to do it that fast, it's just because there's momentum. And then I can start to pull my hip into it, right, to generate more force in the ground. Or I can take that hip movement and I can translate that into a better position instead. So instead of trying to move you with it, I'm moving myself with it. Right? So we're here, and as I pull, I've got my hip coil and step instead. Does that make sense? So it's less power into you, but it's got me in a better position because I let it pull myself. That makes sense. Thank you, right? Let's see. Yeah, so basically what you want to do is you just have it as two separate pieces right now. You have the loop and then you have a step, which is breaking apart your power here. You want to, as soon as this arm is coming in, as soon as this one is pulling down, it's all one moment, right? It's boom, all together at one time. Your actual structure is right. Yeah. All right, I want to show you one last trick, and then we can wrap it up if we need to. The last one again is to get behind, and this is if you're playing with a rule set where sliding the hand over to grab the head is allowed. You might see this in a lot of styles where there's like hip tosses and stuff like that. It might just be something where they're just trying to drag you around. So we're going to do a little bit of like a spinning yielding thing with our head and with our waist. So if you do boxing, this will look a little bit like rolling, right? So as their arm comes up, like they're trying to grab your head, like you're trying to throw me or whatever, so bring it over, boom, I'm gonna let it roll out the back, and then I'm in this really nice rear position, right? So the way that we're gonna do this is really light for now. Your partner's just gonna touch your neck, and you're gonna practice sticking with your head. You're going to try to keep your body structure. We're not compromising and folding here. We're keeping the connection in our back here. We're just folding at the hips. And we're going to bow down and then stick through. And your partner is going to try to stick to your head. So if you're here, you're going under. I'm trying to always put pressure. Boom. Does that make sense? I'm sure a lot of you have done exercises like this with the hands, right? Where you're controlling the arms and sticking in that fashion. We're doing exactly that same thing, but now with the head. And the goal is just to dip under and stick and get to the outside. If you can frame with your forehead, you're going to be a lot better off because you can drive that straight down your center, right? If I'm here or if I'm in one of these weird positions trying to push with my chin, it's not going to play out very well. So your partner is going to come here, you're here, boom, try to stick to it so that you could pressure into them if you needed to. Does that make sense? It's kind of a goofy one. I don't actually see people practice this one a lot outside of like wrestling, like Greco-Roman wrestling, but you can use a lot of the same sticking, following, yielding concepts with your head. And it's actually going to help a lot when people try to throw you like this. Cool? Cool. All right, I'm going to come around one more time. Grab a hand. All right. So, yep. And just try to get the bending in your legs less in your spine. So, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you're trying to keep the pressure as if you were still trying to throw. Boom. Yeah. Here. Yeah, somewhere thereabouts. And the way that I like to do it is to get like a little bit of initial contact first, so that I can feel where the arm is, so I don't have to actually like find. I don't have to try to be fast because he was being smart. As I lowered my level, he's lowering it. So I need to make sure that that's right there, right? And then ideally, that's for when. So go ahead and like hug my, like if we were in like a boxing clinch of some kind, right? I feel this space. And you can eventually start.
You're right. You find yourself in this a lot.
Yes, and it's a bad position for the neck. It's a bad position for the game that you're playing or in real life fighting or whatever. Yeah. So it's just find the negative space in the armpit, under the arm, or fill it with your head. All right. How are we doing over here?
We're just trying to figure it out because it feels a little wonky to me.
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes.
Cool, thank you.
Alright, so if you're here, right? If you're smart, follow me. So if I try to like go under like this, which is my neck, it's gonna be bad time. So I like to try to make contact and roll through the contact the same way as you would if I was trying to control. Yeah, exactly. Do that, but with your head. With my head. Does that make sense? So if we're here and I'm putting pressure on you, boom. Yeah. And the ideal position, if we've got, well, imagine with the arms, I have you open here or I have you closed here, right? I start from a position of open, I want to get my head here so that you are closed, right? And obviously that's a cartoon, I'm not going to follow you for that long in a real position. That's just for the drill, it's practicing sticking. Does that make sense? Okay. Does that answer questions? Can I see it real quick? All right, that's time. Thank you, folks. You all did great.